Welcome to Flipping Houses for Rookies, the only podcast that shows you how to take back your financial freedom and live the American dream by becoming a real estate investor. Without the banks, without the big wigs, and without the realtor's nonsense. This isn't about selling you coaching or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about opening your eyes to the possibilities so you can make real chunks of dough, buy your life back, and become a free American. With over 400 episodes aired, we're delivering everything you need to know to find deals, talk to sellers, structure deals, and win big. It's time to take action, change your mindset, and claim what's yours. Real estate is the key to your freedom, and we're here to show you the way. Subscribe now and catch our latest episodes on YouTube at Flipping Houses for Rookies, because your financial freedom starts today. Now, here are your hosts, Bill and Pete.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. I was thinking this morning, Peter, about that new intro music that we have. I haven't listened to it in a little while. I'm going to have to go listen to it again. It's been about a month since I've listened to it. I think it's pretty cool. So how are you this morning?
Good. I'm fine. How are you?
I think I'm okay. Except for my throat, but that's another story. A couple of weeks I've been dealing with this allergy sinus stuff. It's starting to go away. It's getting warm here. All right, good. Podcast number 452. The title of today's podcast is Rookie Blueprint to Retiring Early with Creative Real Estate.
All right.
Discovered, here's the description, discovered the wealth transfer mechanism that's helping everyday people create an early retirement level of income without 40 years time, capital, and even risk. In fact, Wall Street hopes you never find out about these secrets. While common everyday financial advisors keep pushing the same tired formula of saving 15% of your income for 40 plus years and pray the market doesn't crash before you turn 65.
Oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing all these years? Ha,
Exactly.
I didn't get that memo.
You didn't get that memo, huh?
No.
And this week's eye-opening episode, we will reveal the exact blueprint that has helped hundreds of rookies escape their 9-to-5 salary prison. While their coworkers are grinding away, desperately trying to make ends meet, you will hold in your mind a simple way out of the trap and be secretly building a potential hands-off real estate profit machine generating 5 to 6 figure paychecks on demand for everyday folks.
And you said hands off.
Yep.
You did. Hands off.
Yep. If you take this secret pathway serious and truly believe it will work for you, it is an absolute guarantee you will be able to retire early and live life on your dreams. Now, before I start, just because you brought up the hands-off thing, I'm not going to talk about that too much today. I'm going to tell you how to get started and how to go in that direction. But let me see here if I can get my book out. If you go to podcast number... podcast number 446, mostly podcast number 448. I talk about the 6 strategies and strategy number, and it's a gradient scale or sequence of how you would get to a hands-off position. You would do certain types of deals first, and then second, and the third, and the fourth, and then fifth, and it explains exactly how to do that. My book is ready. I'm going to publish it. By next week, I should have it. I should have it by this week, and give everybody a link. But I haven't had the girl publish it on my assistant put it onto Amazon yet. So I just need to. I have everything ready to go. I've just been. I went into some dark hole this week, Peter. So I've been kind of working on stuff that I needed to work on.
Hey, Bill, I didn't see you in that hole. I was there. I didn't see you. I think what hole did you come out? I came out of one of them. Did you come out the other one?
Yeah, evidently. All right, so let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. Please subscribe and like to us to where. Please subscribe and like wherever you're watching us or listening to us, so that others can get a warm fuzzy feeling for them to come listen. It's kind of funny, Peter, because we've done 452 of these podcasts, and honestly, I don't even go look at some of that stuff half the time. I think I only look at it a few times a year, and here's the reason why. This is me giving back. I've been doing this 30 plus years. I give to you, obviously, and my coaching clients, which are only a handful of people at this point. So this is my way of giving back what I feel like is something valuable to somebody when they're started. I wish somebody had a podcast like what we do when I first started.
Sure.
However, it's not a viral podcast. It's not one. I mean, we've got a few million downloads, maybe 2.5 million downloads, something like that. It's not some viral thing, but for the person that's exactly looking to do creative real estate, this is a good podcast. I give a lot of details here. So anyway, so just like it and subscribe to it wherever you're watching it or listening to it. Also, if you go into this in the description, you'll find a link to my new free newsletter. It's been out for a month now. You get it. It's absolutely free. If you don't want to go in the description, you can go to newsletter, creative real estate newsletter. No, what is it? Oh my God. Creative Real Estate Dealology.com/subscribe. All right, so it's Creative Real Estate Dealology.com/subscribe, and you can get it for free. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's a lot of goodies in there too, because I drop a lot of bombs in there. All right, so let's start off this way, Peter. I Googled the other day, because I've heard this on the news, but I wanted to check it because, as we all know, Mr. Trump, like him or not, has revealed to us that there is such thing as fake news, right? So I have to check it before I recite it, right? Not that Google's any better, but Google says that the average income in 2025, which is our current year, says that the average income is $66,622. The medium income, now I don't know the difference between these, but this is what they said. The medium income is $59,384.
Okay.
Now, the strangest thing in the world is the middle class income is $49,715. What's the difference between average, medium, and middle class? Because I know you're going to ask that. I have no clue.
I have a clue on the median. So as far as I understand, averages, you take all add up all the numbers and just divide by how many are involved. But median is supposed to be something like what's ever kind of in the middle. It doesn't mean the most, but it's like in the middle somehow.
Okay, here's the point. This is for 12 months, 40 plus hours per week. Don't do anything else except that.
Yeah.
And this, my friend, is my mental breakdown. I work, I strive, I think about, I meditate about, I postulate about. There's so many things. There's so many things that I do about this because I don't understand it. And by the time you get done with today's podcast, you will have a complete understanding of why I think this is just so stupid.
Oh, okay.
It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. It's because, I'm going to just make a couple comments here that I did make. It's because there's only one reason why somebody works 12 months a year, 40 hours a week to make $60,000 a year. There's only one reason. Only one reason. There is no other reason. There is only one reason.
And what do you think? What's that?
Two sub reasons.
Okay.
They're drifters.
Ooh, yeah.
most people get out of school and they're looking for the job and they just kind of hunt around and they see a help wanted sign. They're not focused. People that have plans, they write their plans down, they have goals, they head for those goals, they look in their future, right? I mean, I talked about it last week, which I haven't read in probably a year. I don't know why it's been on my mind. I should probably read it again. But Benjamin Hardy writes a book, The Future You, right? And we don't think about the future you. We don't think about that enough, right? And what happens is, I was just reading an old book that was written, anyways, I'm not going to get into it. I was reading this whole book, and the point is that you have a 5-year goal, and then you break it down to, like, what am I going to do today towards that 5-year goal? And it's not that hard, but it keeps you focused, right? So, and just one more little point on that, because I was always that guy, and you know this, and Emma used to tease me about this, and definitely my coach, is my attention span is 2 weeks. Right? And if it didn't work in 2 weeks, I was off doing something else. Well, I've ruined my life because of that. I mean, I'm 60 years old and I could be a multi-millionaire had I not had that quality. And I had to learn at 60 years old, I'm 61 now, but at 60 years old, I had to realize, I had to figure out what the secret was. And I figured it out by accident. And the secret is writing your goals every day and keeping your attention on those goals. If you don't write them down every day or at least multiple times a week, you find something else, the environment spits something else out to you, and you're off doing something else. It's kind of like, let's go to Florida to Walt Disneyland, right? And then on our way, we find the alligator zoo and we spend 4 days there, and oops, now we don't have time to go to Disneyland. You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that. So anyways, what I want to do is disrupt this ideology today, because it really bothers me on why people do this. It's a stupid thing. I mean, some people have to do it. I mean, we do need people to work, right? Production is the key, is the basis of morale, and it's the key to our society, right?
Yeah, it'd be fine, though, if somebody really wanted to do a particular job. If they enjoyed it, that's fine. But if they're doing it and they don't like it, that's a whole other story.
I'm in the middle of watching a series on, I think it's on, well, I don't know where. I started watching on Disney Plus, but I found it other places. It's called Hell on Wheels.
Yeah?
And I suggest everybody listening to me right now goes and watch at least a couple episodes. It's set in 1865, and it's the Northwest, I think it's called the Northwest or East-West Railroad going across the country. Now, if you want to see something incredible, watch how these people lived and how they worked. We got it freaking made, man.
We shouldn't be complaining. You look at that, you stop complaining.
Right. So I want to disrupt this ideology today and give a different perspective, followed by a simple to use blueprint by the time we get to the end. Okay. So the first disruptor I want to talk about is this. I have 4 of them. Actually, I have 5 of them because I got one at the end too. So the first disruptor I want to engage in, meaning something that shifts your mind and makes you think differently, is don't put time and money in the same bucket. They're not connected. The Henry Fords of the world did that by saying, I'll give you $5 an hour and I only want you working 40 hours a week because on the weekends I want you to go out and drive one of my cars and enjoy it. So buy a car too. And that's where it came from.
So connecting the time and the money together. Okay. Okay. Yep.
Some of my best, some of my best profits, some of my most incredible income came off the least amount of time that I did anything.
Sure.
Now, the only time you should put time and money together is when you're charging interest. If you're a bank and you want to stretch money out and get interest for it, then it matters. So who sets this in society, right? I mean, Rockefeller back in 1908, I think it was, or 1912, I don't remember which date it was, had professed that he did not want the education system to teach about money.
Wow.
He lobbied against that in the Senate. You could go find this online, right?
I never heard that. It doesn't surprise me. He did everything else stupid. I never heard that. That's horrible.
Yeah, so he didn't want us to understand money, which is the reason why most of us, I mean, think about it. You get all the way to high school, you get all the way through college, unless you took an economics course, you have no idea how, I mean, my daughter, Jessie, who's 33 years old, has 3 kids, a husband, has a house, 2 cars, right? She teaches, she's a professor. She's going for her PhD. She's a smart little shit. But she had to come to Dad to teach her how to balance a checkbook before she went into college because she didn't know how to do that.
Wow.
I had to teach her. Robert, is his name Robert? Kiyosaki. What's his first name?
Yeah, Robert.
Robert Kiyosaki sold a cash flow quadrant, and that's what taught her about money.
Yeah, the book. Good book.
The school. No, It was a game. It was a game.
Oh, there's a game. Oh, the game too. That's right. I never saw that. You used to play that with the girls.
Right. Huh. So it's what makes money is assets. So what you need to do is pour money into assets, and that's what makes money. So the second disruptor is people don't want what you make. They want what you do for them. Now, there's an old story, and I'm trying to keep track of my time here because there's a lot of things I want to tell you guys today. There's an old story about the guy. It's a marketing story about the guy that goes into a hardware store and says, "I need a 1/4-inch drill bit, a 1/4-inch drill bit."
Yeah.
So the story goes that the attendant at the hardware store says to him, "Okay, well, what are you doing with it?" Right? The original intention was, is it for wood or is it concrete or is it, what's the bit for?
Yeah, what kind of bit do you need? He should ask that.
Right. So the moral of the story, and it's a longer story than what I'm making it, is, well, he didn't really want a bit. He wanted a hole. Now, I've taken this one step further because that's not true, because I've been really digging into, like, who do I want to do business with? I'm really stuck on this. In fact, you and I should talk about this, but if you want, it's like, it makes a big difference. And that's what we're talking about today. Like, who do you want to do business with? If you pre-select, it's kind of like playing Russian, what is that, roulette? The roulette board?
Russian roulette?
No, that's not right. The wheel with the black.
Yeah, roulette. Just roulette.
Roulette, yeah. Right? So the thing is that most people throw their ball into the spinning wheel and then think about what's going to happen, instead of thinking about what's going to happen before they throw the ball in. You understand? It's kind of like a weird thing, right? So today we're going to concentrate on what do you think about before you go all in.
Right.
Right. Like what could happen, why would it happen, and what is the best results you should get, right? Before you throw the ball in. So
it's kind of like it's like looking ahead and working your way back.
Yeah, more or less, or at least taking a look at the repercussions and what effect it's going to create. Right. So, anyways, we're going back to the guy that wants a drill bit. So the guy that wants a drill bit doesn't really want a hole. What he really wants is he wants a hole to put a screw in that will hold a shelf up, because he's putting shelves in his bedroom because he doesn't want the clutter in his bedroom anymore, and he needs to put shelves up to be able to clean the room up. And the reason why he's cleaning the room up is because his wife is on his ass about making sure the room is clean. So what he really wants is he wants his wife to get off his ass, or he wants a clean room. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's funny. It's true, though.
And if you think about creative real estate this exact same way, it's a whole different world, right? Like, what do you really want? What's really at the core, and who can help you get that? So the third disruptor is, don't consider money is valuable. Money is not valuable. Money is fiat. Fiat money is the government says we have to use it, right? It's what money gets that is the true value, right? So, like, after all, people work hard to get money. I know you do. I know I do.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And you don't have to, but you get money. But here's the weirdest thing in the world. You now have money. What do you do with it? You give it away. You trade it for what you really want. So money is not what you want. Money's not what you want, right?
That's right.
What you want is a specific type of lifestyle, or some comfort, or it's going to come back to a lifestyle. So you want money to be able to provide you your lifestyle, right? So I know plenty of people. I mean, the book 4-Hour Work Week was predicated completely on this concept by Ferris. It was completely predicated on this concept. Like, so if you only want to work 4 hours a week, who says you have to live in America? Like, go into this other country and you could live for like 1/8 of and you only need to work 4 hours a week. Because the money's not what you want. It's what the money will get you that you want. Right? And there's a whole nother concept. I can go probably another 2 hours just on this one point, because most people don't look at what they want. They look at what they can get rid of, what they don't want. They think money's going to get rid of what they don't want, right? And that's the wrong way to do it. That's the difference between a drifter and a person that has plans and is going somewhere, right?
Yep.
Which all this is not me. This comes out of Napoleon Hill's newly released book. It's been released in the last year, called Outwitting the Devil. It's a phenomenal book.
I just read some this morning. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things you might think, you might see here and there, you might study other places, but he puts it in such a practical, like, daily use. Like, you can read something like, oh yeah, that makes sense, but then what do you do tomorrow morning with it? Yeah. So he has like, well, then tomorrow when you get up, do this, then do that. You know, it just gives you things you can use.
Well, he ends up interviewing the devil, which is obviously...
I'm on that chapter now. I just started. I hadn't seen it yet. Yeah. Oh, God.
It's incredible.
God.
The devil says, don't call me the devil. Call me your majesty.
Oh.
And he says, well, really? Why is that? He says, because I control 98% of the population.
Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
With bad habits. And that's where this whole drifter thing comes from. Anyways... the biggest obvious secret is, pay attention to this, because I'm telling you, this has taken me a lifetime to figure this stuff out. And I'm down in a rabbit hole because I've been really working on, I'm really working on big expansion for me. I mean, I'll tell you just one thing. One of my partners in the other business, we just paid a ton of dough for him to go sit in front of Alex Hormozy to help us with one of our businesses. So that's where I'm at. I'm at a way different level than most, and I'm not saying like I'm better or worse or anything like that. I just have some serious intention, and it's not to make money. It's to help people. I feel like I need to help more people. All right. So the biggest obvious secret is every human on planet Earth. Every human. Did I say some? Or most?
No, I think you said every on planet Earth.
Every single one of us. 8 billion of us
Wow.
on planet Earth is in the middle of some sort of transformation. They want change or improvement or decline. They're either improving or declining. Nothing in this universe stays the same. It's either getting better or getting worse. It's just a natural law.
Yep.
So if that's the case, and this is really true, you need to ask yourself these 3 questions. This is what it's like when you're going to be a retired real estate entrepreneur. This is part of your blueprint. You should probably write these down, but you decide what you want to do. These are the 3 questions. As Jay Conner said, these are writer-downers. All right, question number 1. Who are you seeking to help change? Who are you seeking to help change? Just that one person. That one person. And I'm going to prove this to you by the end of this podcast.
Oh, so not like in general, like specifically.
Who? The word is who. Who are you helping? Who are you seeking to help change? Just one person.
Right. Now, you're not saying an avatar, like a type. You're saying it's like a guy, somebody with a name.
Who?
All right.
Who are you seeking to change?
Yep.
Right. Number 2. Now pay attention to this, Peter.
Yep.
I'll wait for you. You want to write it down? Go ahead. Who are you seeking to change is number 1. I'll take a sip of my tea.
To change or help or both?
To change.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 2. What promise can you make them if you do help them? What promise can you make them if you do help them? Now comes the grand slam. Here comes the home run. Question number 3. How many people, like this person, like how many of these people do you need to do this with so you can retire early?
Boy, I like that one.
And I'm going to tell you, if you actually do this exercise for real, you're going to be blown away. And I'm going to do it for you before we get off this podcast, because you're going to be blown away at what this means. These 3 questions, what they mean. This is vital to any marketing campaign. This is vital to how you are going to make a lot of money. We just spent a lot of money, as I told you. Sean went to go see Alex Ramosi, and I talked to him late last night. He was leaving Vegas.
Oh.
And one of the things that he just pounded to death is, when you have something that works, just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Huh.
Just keep doing it over and over and over again. You just need to find who you got to do it with, who believes it. I'm going to get into that in a minute.
Cool.
So this brings me to my next icebreaker. Okay? Your flight plan should include the only 3 ways to increase income. There's only 3 ways to increase income. Jay Abraham wrote this. Jay Abraham wrote this, right? 1, and I'm going to talk about it here in Create Real Estate. He talks about it in his book a little bit more general. His book is called, let's see if I can find it over there. I just had it out. Oh, there it is. Get everything you can get out of what you've got. Jay Abraham. Okay?
Yeah.
So here it is. Number 1, figure out what each client is worth in dollars and how much time you need to spend with them.
Okay.
Right? So you need to figure out how much each client is worth in dollars and how much time you got to spend with them. I'm going to do this with you before we leave this podcast.
Okay.
Okay? Number 2, how many times you can get that client to pay you. Right? So let's talk about this for a second. So find out what each client's worth to you. So you, let's take your guitar business.
Sure.
So what's each client worth to you? So the average client, will say, takes 13 lessons. The average client, or whatever the numbers. I have no idea. I'm going to make it up. So
say a year. Say a year.
Okay, so 52 lessons, 50
Yeah.
lessons.
Yeah, 50
Okay,
makes it
so
even.
what do they pay per lesson?
$30.
So
$30.
30 times. So each person you get is worth $1,500 to you.
Right.
Okay. Now, watch this. How many times you can get them to pay you?
Well, luckily for this kind of business, it's every week, so it's repetitive. So you don't have to go chase a new plumbing client every day and another one every day, He said he's saying no to me. What?
No.
What?
No.
What?
Because I think, and I'm kind of slapping, I'm kind of kicking you in the nuts right now. I think you're missing the boat.
Okay.
Because you're not thinking outside of the box.
Like how can I get more out of each person, you're saying?
How could they pay you more money? You already got $1,500 because you know that they're going to pay $30 a lessons for 50 lessons. You already got that. You already closed that.
Right.
So how could you get more?
Well, some people take 45-minute lessons and some people take hour lessons.
But you're selling time.
I am selling time. Yeah. Well, in that regard, yes.
All right. What if you went to some manufacturer that makes guitars or ukuleles or instruments, and you had a little display in your house with picks and guitars and materials to clean your guitars with, headphones, amps. I don't know enough about music.
Merchandise.
But if you had merchandise, not a lot, high profitable merchandise that they would use all the time, would that cover how many times could you get money out of them? I texted you yesterday this website called Notion. Right? I don't know if you looked at it, right?
I started to. Yeah.
I was looking for a Notion. Notion is a software that keeps, it's like a management software.
Yeah.
And I found this by accident, right? So this notion is for composers, right, and musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't you have these notion documents for songs they want to play? Like, suppose the most famous song you teach everybody is Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
Sure.
So why not have a notion book just for that one song that they can buy for $10 or $20 or $500 or whatever? It's something that they can buy to add to their lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You could also tell them, okay, for an extra $15, if you play the music, you can send me a recording, and I will coach you during the week with something like Hello Talk or what was that, Voxter, or
like an app, like a special app.
They can send you the music, and you could say, and you charge them $15 extra a week to listen to their music when they're practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is how many times can you get them to pay you?
Right. So this is optimizing each person, getting more per person. Okay.
In creative real estate, one of the things that we do is we add appreciation to their deal. So they're not just paying us $200,000 for the house, it's 0.25% more per month.
Mm-hmm.
We're also getting down payment assistance, so we're getting them to pay us extra each month. Right? Plus, there are other ways to make money, like there's a garage in the back. You can charge extra money for the garage. You can charge for pet fees. You can charge for extra people in the house. These are all ways that we could make extra money with a person.
Is this under upselling, or is that different?
That's a little bit different because upselling is right after the sale. I'm talking about, so Jay Abraham said the first one is figure out what each client's worth in dollars and how much time you spend with them.
Yeah.
Right? So you're saying that you need to in your music business, you're charging $1,500 for 50 hours of your time a year.
Mm-hmm.
But you're intimate with these people because they come to your studio and they work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, because you get intimate, you could sell them other things. That's not an upsell. That's just a convenience.
Just it's more diversification.
They're buying that stuff somewhere else. Why not from you? Why, or at least have an affiliate with a guitar company so you could sell a guitar and make an extra $100.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to have the guitar there. Mm-hmm. You could have a book with them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways. So number 3, because I want to move on. Number 3.
Wait a minute. What was number 2?
That's the one we've been talking about. So number 1 is figure out what each client's worth in dollars. Mm-hmm. And number 2, how many times can you get that client to pay you?
Okay. Oh, that's the second half of that one. I got you.
So it's number 2. It's not the second half. So the first, number 1 is figure out what each client is worth in dollars and in time. That's number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is how many times can you get that client to pay you?
Okay.
And then number 3 is how many months, or in our case, how many years can you get that client to be on your program of paying you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those are the only 3 ways to increase your income.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So how do we seek our own little pocket of uniqueness so we get attention? Right? And this is the key, literally. It doesn't make sense to make a key and then run around looking for a lock for that key.
That it fits?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense to make a key and then run around and trying to find a lock that it's going to fit. The only productive solution is to find a lock and then fashion a key to fit in it, which is what we do on every single call that we have. See, we need to find someone, not everyone, because I promise you, you need 1 or 2 people to do a deal with you a year to replace your income. 1 or 2 people to do this, and I'm going to prove this to you before we're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
You are.
Right? So, to do this, you would need to scratch out these 3 questions so it's clear who someone is for you, because I'm hammering on who is that someone. because you don't need a lot of people in this business. This business has big numbers. You might, if you could change your music business from the average person paying you $1,500 to the average person paying you $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
How many? Does that mean you need less students and you work less? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So instead of trying to go always looking for new students and looking for new income that is transient,
mm-hmm.
you need to figure out what transformation they're in, what conversation they're having in their head, and how you can make a promise to them to get them out of that, and then say to them, okay, here's the program, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just need to work it backwards. If I want to make $100,000 a year, here's how many people I need, and here's how many upsells I got to have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could stop chasing people and having the turnover that you have by sticking with them because you promised them what they wanted.
Mm.
And they're going to keep getting it. And
mm-hmm.
oh yeah, by the way, if they decide they want to leave, bring up the promise again.
Mm.
Did you get it or didn't you get it? Because the only reason why they're leaving is because whatever you promised them, they don't feel like they got it. Or whatever you promised them wasn't their real problem, like the guy with the drill in the hardware store.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The drill bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here are the 3 questions, right? So you would want to scratch out these 3 questions so it's clear who someone is for you and you can spot them in a crowd. More importantly, and most people don't think about this, this is what I've been trying to portray, I think, for a decade, is the most important part of our business is suspects.
Mm-hmm.
You want to whack the people that don't fit in your model, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here are the questions. Number 1, my service is for sellers who believe blank. My service is for sellers who believe blank. So in this particular case, they believe that a slot deal will make them more money, or a lease option will work for them, or a subject to is a good thing for them, or owner financing is exactly what they wanted. Whatever it is that you're good at, and most of our clients, or most of my clients, are the new rookies, are people that are going to do slot deals,
mm-hmm.
right? They're going to do slot deals, or they're going to do option deals, right? Because those are the first 2 of the 6 stages. So what I do, my promise or my service, is for sellers who believe blank. And you need to figure that out in your head, who you want it to be, what you want it to be. Because if they don't believe that, you whack them, don't spend any time with them, get off the phone with them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to make a deal that's not a deal. Number 2, I will focus on sellers who want blank. I will focus on sellers who want blank. Now, little to your knowledge, you created an amazing thing, and that's the question that you ask, what's more important to you, getting your price or profit?
Mm-hmm.
This fits in there perfectly. So I will focus on sellers who want blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want their price. Well, you're going to get cash buyers.
Yep.
Or people that want profit, you're going to get terms deals. So in your case, I will focus on sellers who want more profit.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want that, you whack them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
The third question is, I promise that engaging with me will help them get blank. So I promise that engaging with me will help them get blank. So in your case, it'd be, I promise that engaging with me, I will help them get 35% over market value in profit. If they're not interested in that, you whack them, you keep moving.
Yep. I actually did exactly that yesterday, talking to somebody who was a real estate person. You don't know this one. It just happened yesterday. And owned something, and just, the wife was trying to sell it. It didn't do so well. I think I just want to sell it. It says, well, if we did this, you would make X amount of money instead of that amount of money selling it, and it would be $35,000, $40,000 more just for waiting and not doing anything. And he goes, not a a bad idea. What? Send me the memorandum.
You have my attention.
Yeah, he goes, send me the memorandum. We had this amazing, and I didn't do it. We had a great conversation, and I didn't do it. You know how I can talk to people? He did it. So it was that kind of thing, like, send me that. So I know exactly what you mean.
You walked right into my next section here, which is you want to stand for something, not everything. Sellers will remember you for your uniqueness of caring for them before they care what you do. So you want to stand for something, like you stood for something. You stood for, if you wait 3 years, I can make you an extra $40,000. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You made a promise.
Yep.
Right? It was a uniqueness because the way you presented it is you cared for them before they care what you could do for them.
Okay, you want to hear the other funny piece of this?
Mm-hmm.
It's the guy it's a mobile home. The guy has a title on it, right? They're divorced now, and she was trying to sell it. So I'm talking to her first. I don't have his number. I have hers. She goes, look, my husband can sell it, but I tell you what, if you can work this deal out where if he finds someone to buy it, he can buy it, it's yours. Period. It's yours, just like that.
Yep.
So I said, yeah, I can do that. I'll give him an option. If he finds a buyer, go ahead. If I get the buyer, I take it. I won't ask you for commission. You get your own buyer, that's fine, but I don't care. What's it to me? He goes, all right, let's do it. Because that's what they wanted.
It's clarity.
See, I've been listening to your podcast, you know.
That's awesome, Peter. That's awesome.
And it's not that hard. It's the strangest thing. It's like talking to somebody and just listening to them and asking a few questions. Like, what do you want? Okay, I can do that. You can? Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so Peter, I want you to sit back, lean back in your chair. I want you to fasten your seatbelt, and I'm going to take you on an Elon Musk rocket ride.
SpaceX, here we go. Okay.
Think about this, Peter. Think about this.
Yeah.
You need to remember this for the rest of your life. A lifeguard doesn't have to spend much time pitching to the drowning person, do they?
No.
When the lifeguard shows up with a little buoy, the person will inherently know what's at stake, and you don't need to do much convincing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying we're dealing with desperate people. I'm not saying that at all.
Mm.
But they are in the middle of a transformation. They're trying to change something. What is that something? And when you show up with that life buoy, there's not much explaining, is there?
Nope. Go up or go down.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you shortcut this process that we're talking about for 40 minutes? Right? Easy. And it really is easy, but it's not going to be at first because you're going to have to think about this.
Yeah.
Find sellers that dream about what you can promise for them or promise to them. Find sellers that dream about what you could give them or promise them.
Mm.
This works for your guitar business too.
Mm-hmm.
This works for any business, right? I'm a part of a high-end coaching group with Perry Belcher.
Yeah.
And I was on a call last night, and he just chops all these bombs. It's like probably how I am for others, he is for me, right? And he says, "You want to make a lot of money? I'll tell you how to make a lot of money." So everybody said, "Yeah, okay." He says, "All you need to do is figure out how to give away for free what everybody else is charging for as your first product to impress somebody and then sell on the back end."
Mm.
That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do we do that? Like the conversation is free. You mean in the conversation then?
No.
Like,
what I mean is
in
that
the podcast?
we spend too much time. We spend too much time talking to sellers.
Yeah.
We don't need sellers. We don't make money off of sellers. We make money off of buyers. What we need is inventory. So we need to think like a realtor, and we need to be able to get inventory as our bait to find the buyers to come hunting around for the bait.
Right, because it doesn't cost us anything to get inventory. A $50 option, a $100 option, $20 option,
Yep.
which you don't have to give them right away. We only have to give it to them before the deal goes.
Right.
Just because.
So when you're talking to a seller, right, that's the front end sale, and then the back end sale is everything you can do with the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
All the money you can make the buyer. Like I'm talking about appreciation and all these other down payment assistance, all these other ways that we were talking about, number 2, on getting them to pay you more money.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of ways to do that. But who is paying you money? The buyer's paying you money. The buyer is paying you your profit. They're paying the seller. They're paying the lien holders. They're paying everybody. But if you don't have a property to show a buyer and lure them in to take a look at it, you don't have a business. You got a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And spending all this time learning how to talk to sellers is wasted time. It's useless. Realtors don't do that. They don't have to go through all this training how to talk to their people that give them listing agreements. Why do we do it? So I said it's easy. Find sellers that dream about what you can promise and do for them, which means you don't need everyone, just that one someone that believes your offer claims, whatever claims you're giving in your offer, are true and generous or valuable to reaching their dream. Remember what I said, money is not what you want, it's what you're going to do with the money that's the value. So too many people go into real estate thinking that money is the core negotiator. No, you need to find out, what are they trying to do with this property? Are they trying to relieve themselves, or is it need or greed?
Mm-hmm.
Do they need to get rid of it, or is it just a greed thing? They just want money to get a different lifestyle.
Yep.
Right. So most have the whole creative real estate system backwards. They think they're at effect of the seller's willingness. I've coached for 10 years in 3 different coaching groups. Not for 10 years. Well, I've coached in 3 coaching groups for 3 years. 10 years, the other 2.
Mm-hmm. For a total of...
Yeah. All I know is we spend a lot of time about talking to sellers. And that's at effect. Well, they won't do this, or they won't do that, or I'm going to handle this objection, or they won't. No. What you need to do is you need to figure out what they want and then give it to them. And then bring it to the market and see if you can make money, because your decision is not the final decision. It's your buyer's decision, the one that's going to pay you. So you need to figure out how you could take the seller's theories and philosophy and ideas and dreams, mostly their dreams, and see if it'll work. You're not the judge and jury of that. I told you I was watching this Hell on Wheels. So they have a little gunfight because the railroad's coming through, and they got a piece of land, and there's this religious guy that shoots somebody, right? And he brings in the cavalry, the military, right? And they go out there and they find the person that's because his sheriff got shot, right?
Yep.
So they go out there with horses and a piece of rope, and there was no judge or jury. They were like, "You shot him," put the rope around his neck, and they hung him. That's not allowed anymore. Why? Because maybe he didn't shoot him. Maybe it was the father that shot him, right? Here's my point is, this is exactly how people deal with sellers. They put the rope on and they just hang someone. They just make a decision just like that and they think that they're the judge and the juror. Don't do that. What you need to do is just sign a contract and get somebody going. And then let the buyers go survey it with your buyers. Only survey with people that use their wallet. Those are the people you listen to, the ones that pay you.
Yep.
So don't think you know it all. Just sign a contract. Get a 90-day option agreement. Whatever they want. Let me see. Even if it's not all cash, just get a 90-day option agreement. Say, let me see if I can go find that buyer for you. You want $20,000 down and $8,000 a month? Okay, let me see if I can go find someone. Mm-hmm. And then at least you have inventory to go find buyers. It'll attract people, and other things will happen. Mm-hmm. It'll loosen up your communication lines, and it'll get you talking to more people, and things will flow more. Don't be so rigid on talking to the seller. Just give them what they want. Sign an option agreement that's non-committal, and let me go put it on the market and see what they say. Let me see what the buyers say. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's draft out the blueprints to flip you from being at an effect point and put you back at cause.
Okay.
Okay. So let's not take the $66,622 a year for income. Let's take $75,000.
Sure.
Okay. Also, let's assume the average property in America is $419,000. That's not an assumption. That is true. Go Google it.
Yeah. Right.
So according to Google, it's $419,000. And I believe none of us should work for less than 10% profit. I believe. Mm-hmm. I know that we're doing 5%, but that's just because I want to get some people going, because there's nothing better than getting somebody to do a deal to believe that it works. Mm-hmm. Because once you believe it, you'll stay in forever. But let's be, and with all that said, let's be super, super conservative. And let's do a $400,000 property at a 5% discount.
Okay.
Because we could do that deal from a seller, right? So there's basically no barriers of entry. So they're asking $400,000. It's worth $419,000, or even if they're asking $419,000, you're like, they're going to pay a realtor 5% anyways, right?
Sure.
Plus. They don't know that, but they believe they're going to pay a realtor at least 5%. Well, I'll tell you what. Give me a 5% discount, and I will go find you a buyer. So 5% of $400,000 is $20,000. Right? So if we need, so at $20,000, right? Mm-hmm. And this is not what I'm telling you, because it's better than this, because I'm going to show you something better than this. If you just did that, that's doing stage 1 and stage 2 of my stages.
Yeah.
That's just signing people up for slot deals and option deals at 5% discount. Mm-hmm. The slot deal, you add the 5% after you get it. An option deal, you get a 5% discount from the seller. Mm-hmm. So in a slot deal, you just give them their asking price. It's $419,000. I'm going to mark it up 5%, and that's what I'm going to go sell it for. Because It's a terms deal. Because if you were to buy my computer today for $1,000 in cash and pay $1,000, you're paying $1,000. But if you swiped your credit card and paid over 24 months, you're no longer paying $1,000. So mm-hmm. people that buy on time pay more. They know that. Yeah. So you're going to tack the 5% on top of the $419, mm-hmm. right? Or the $400, right? But if a person wants all cash and they want to take time out, they have to give a 5% discount, mm-hmm. right? So that means if you did this deal with $400,000, you need 3.75 deals per year to make $75,000. You need three and 3/4 deals to make $75,000. Mm-hmm. So that means you need to do one deal a quarter.
Yep.
When you find the right someone. Mm. That's if you just wanted to replace your job for 40 hours per week to maybe doing 40 hours per month. Mm-hmm. You could replace your job of $75,000 a year. Instead of working 40 hours a week, you could work 40 hours per month. And can easily do these deals doing our, like I said, what I call the Explorer and the Cash Extractor. So the Explorer is the slot deal. You're exploring what you can do with the market because you're testing before you're investing. And the Cash Extractor is the option deal where you're extracting all the cash out of the property, right? So Explorer is testing while you're investing. They're all testing while you're investing using the slot deals. Mm-hmm. And the Cash Extractor is using option deals like a realtor uses listing agreements. Okay?
Yep, correct.
All right. So that's stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 3, which we don't talk enough about, which is what this whole podcast is about today, is what I call the income expert. Stage 3 is the income expert. That's actually lease options. It's different than a slot deal. The reason why is because you're going to get 15% worth of equity and 20% worth of cash flow, right? But an income expert is where we start to retire early, right? With cash flow to the next level by using money now, money monthly, and money later. What we're doing is we're no longer testing the buyers, we're testing our relationship with a long-term buyer. Mm-hmm. So we know with stage 1 and stage 2, which is the explorer and the extractor, we know what the market is. We know how much the house is. We know what they're willing to pay. We know what their income is. We know all that stuff. We learn that, right? But when you go down to the income expert, it's now you're testing and you're testing and not investing in the money, not the house.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You're testing and investing on the money now, money monthly, money later. In this stage, you're still testing, like I said, but not investing and working directly with long-term relationships. Okay? Like I said, you get 15% worth of equity and 20% worth of cash flow. Now watch this magical calculator, Peter. You ready?
Ready.
If we use the same $400,000 property as an example, 15% of $400,000, $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
For one deal. But now we have to break that down into money now, money monthly, money later, because the $60,000 doesn't come all at once, right?
Right.
So we buy for $340,000 because $400,000 minus $60,000, which is the 15% equals $340,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't sell for $400,000. We mark it up because it's a terms deal. So we mark it up to 5%. So we're going to sell for $420,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if we sell for $420,000, we're going to get a 10% discount. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. We're going to get 10% down. So if we sell for $420,000,
isn't that 5% down?
No, we're going to get 10% down.
Okay.
Right? In this case, we're going to get 10% down.
So we're getting 40,000?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
42,000.
Okay.
Right, which you can get. You will do because people have that. I mean, think about it. Most mortgages need that these days. I mean, a conventional mortgage is 20% down. Mm-hmm. And by the way, even if you did go get an FHA mortgage for 5% down, you're going to have closing costs. It's going to equal to almost 10%.
Oh, interesting.
They're not all going to do that. Right? But 10%. So I'm saying all you need to do is find one person. I'm talking about one person.
Yeah.
One person. I'm not talking about your whole business. I'm talking about one person. Right? So that means $420,000, 10% is $42,000. Down. Right? Now let's say we were to get $2,300 a month without the taxes and insurance, because I don't want to put that in there, right? So on a $420,000 house, it's probably going to be like $3,500, $3,300, something like that, with the taxes and insurance. But just principal and interest is $2,300 a month.
Okay.
Right? Also, let's say that the seller owes $300,000 and their mortgage payment's $1,610.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not with taxes and insurance. I left that out for example reasons, right?
Sure.
So if we take the $2,300 and we subtract the $1,610, that's $690 a month, or $8,280 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have $42,000 plus $8,280 for the first year. That's $50,280 for one deal.
Mm.
Because we were focused on that one person to feed us, that one person. And we were looking for a rent-to-own situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought on a rent-to-own and we subleased it, and we're making these deals. We didn't own the property. We're just controlling the lease with an option to purchase.
All right, and we're making that money. We don't have the deed. We don't have that responsibility, but we're controlling it so we can make that kind of money.
Walk away anytime we want.
Yeah, if there's anything fishy. And the owner still gets some of those benefits because he has the deed. There's some tax benefits, interest benefits, you know. So he gets more too.
I'm going to drop that bomb at the end and how you find this person.
Okay.
Because it's real simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're at 58 minutes, so that means we got to move along here. So that means you're getting $42,000 for a down payment plus $8,200 a year, which is $690 a month positive cash flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
For 12 months. So it's $50,280. Middle class, I told you, makes $49,000. So did we need time? Did we need to put in 2,000 hours, 40 hours a week times 50 weeks, because you got 2 weeks for vacation.
Yeah.
2,000 hours to make $50,000.
Nope.
So you can't put time together with money in this formula, right? You just need to find that one deal, that one somebody that will let you do the deal, the seller, and that one somebody that will buy it. Which, by the way, the buyer is very, very easy. Because if you're offering terms, then they're more interested in the payments than they are the price.
Sure.
All right. So if we take $42,000 and minus the $42,000 that we got for down payment, that leaves us with they owe us $378,000. Right? Which means we still have $38,000 left. Because remember, we paid $340,000, right?
I think I'm getting confused because was it $400,000 or $420,000?
Okay, so we had a $400,000 house. We got 15% discount. We paid $340,000.
Right.
We sold for $420,000.
Okay.
Because it's a terms deal.
Mm-hmm.
So we added 5% because we can, because it's a terms deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if we take the $420,000 from our buyer and subtract the $42,000 that they gave us, they still owe us $378,000.
Mm-hmm.
We only have to pay the seller $340,000, which leaves $38,000 left.
Right.
So the $38,000 is the back end money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the money later in our money now, money monthly, money later, right?
Yep.
So let's say you did 2 of these deals per year. Do you think you can find 2 people who would accept your promises and trust you to do this deal? Just 2 people? Just 2 people? Just 2 people? Now, if we go back to podcast number 451, we talked about having the board on the wall with 100 slots on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'm making this so stupid, Peter, that this is an Alex Hormozi Grand Slam offer. You have to be stupid to say no.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do right now. So if you had 100 boxes on your board on the wall, the piece of cardboard I told you about, go listen to podcast number 451. We talked about this last week, right? It's about time. The name of the podcast is How to Find Unique Time to Do Creative Real Estate Today. And I talk about going to get a poster board, putting 100 boxes on there. Now, pay attention to this, Peter.
Yes.
100 boxes is 2 phone calls a week.
In a year.
In a year. You make 2 phone calls a week, and you will find this deal.
Mm-hmm.
I will pay you if you don't. You will find this deal. Script, no scripts, and I'm going to tell you in a minute why you're going to find this deal.
Okay.
But let me run through the numbers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In Connecticut, where we live, there's 3.67 million people. Do you think you can find just 2 people that will do this deal with you?
No comment. Yes, go ahead.
By the way, $50,000, $280,000 cash the first year times 2 equals $100,560. So if you did 2 of these deals, you can make $100,560 a year. And I'm telling you, if you do what I told you to do in podcast number 451 and actually put the poster board on the wall, and you every time you make a phone call, you put their name, address, and phone number in there, and just fill up that poster board. 2 phone calls a week. 2. I don't care if you got 5 million kids and you're running an army and you're the president of your country. You got time to call 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you did this for 5 years, here's what the number looked like. So if you did 1 house, that'd be $50,280 for the first year. 2 houses is $100,560. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take the $50,280 and I'm going to add to it the $8,280, which is what we make annually. Because realize the $50,280 includes the down payment. You only get that the first time.
That's right.
Then you're going to add to each one $8,280 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So year 2, if you did 2 more houses, and these numbers are not correct. These numbers are false because I didn't accumulate them.
Mm.
If you did 2 houses, if the second year you would make $67,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because you added $8,200.
Yeah.
Right? And $134,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
If you did 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you did 3 houses, that's $83,940 a year. If you did 6 houses, which is doing 2 a year, it's $167,880.
Are you also counting when the house sells in about 3 years and you get the back end, or is that extra?
Nope.
So you're not even counting that. Yeah, because
I'm talking about the cash flow. I'm talking about what you get in your pocket right now.
Oh.
If you did it for 4 years, that would be 8 houses. You'd be making $100,500 in your 4th year. And if you did, that's if you did 4 houses, it's $100,000. If you did 8 houses, which is 2 per year for 4 years, it's $201,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 5 years, if you did 5 houses, it's $117,000 a year. And if you did 2 houses a year for 5 years, which would be 10 houses, it's $234,000.
Mm.
Plus, to your point, you got $38,000 for each house times 10 houses is $380,000 in back-end money.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if you did 2 houses per year, you would make $234,120 in cash flow, or $19,510 a month at the end of 5 years. Is that retiring early, Peter?
That's retiring. Bill, you can't say early to me anymore. It's too late. You can say retiring, though.
Right. Plus, you got the $380,000 in equity with no appreciation. We didn't even add all the bonuses that we get.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't do any of that. This is just. So you made $234,000 without the $380,000. So technically, you made like $500,000. You made $500,000, which means doing 2 houses a year with money now, money monthly, money later, your grand total would be $614,000 or $122,000 a year with cash flow and equity per year.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
For working 40 hours a month. And the incredible part is, how much time have you invested, or better yet, have not invested? Because I told you one of the interrupters is don't attach time to money.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say using the $50,000, you did 1 house.
Yeah.
I didn't do all the other numbers because I would be here for 4 hours reciting numbers. But just 1 house at 50,820 hours. I'm sorry. 1 house made $50,820. If you spent 10 hours doing it, you make $5,082. An hour. An hour. An hour. If it took you 20 hours, you're making $2,541 an hour. If it took you 30 hours to do that first house, it's $1,694 an hour. If it took you 40 hours, you made $1,270 an hour. If it took you 80 hours, you made $635 an hour. If it took you 160 hours, it's $317 an hour. All because you used this simple blueprint today and made a promise to a seller who was seeking a simple change that you could provide for them easily. Here's my last interrupter. If you've already rented a house in the past, say your college years or when you first got married, if you rented anything, an apartment, a condo, a house, rented any place to live before, you have literally learned 90% of what I just told you. There is no long education. You just need to know the 8 or 10%, which I just explained to you today, on how you can get a lease option with a landlord and then sublease it and make these numbers I just told you about. Right?
It's true. It's done with a lease.
Which, by the way, how do you find these people? Is you're making 2 phone calls a week. You don't need software. You don't need spreadsheet. You don't need all of that because you're going to put them on your board with 100 boxes. So it's all recorded on that board. You don't need anything. It's simplistic. You're going to make 2 phone calls a week. And here's how you're going to find those people. You're going to go on Facebook Marketplace and look under the rental section, and you're going to text 25 people a day, which takes literally 3 minutes. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you can answer the message because they're going to message you back, right?
Yeah.
I said text. You're going to send them a message, right? You're not going to look at the house. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to put in your local area, and people are going to rent houses. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to type in the message, would you be willing to rent your house for a year or 2 and then sell it to me? Then you're going to copy it and paste it into 24 other houses. If you do that every single day, I don't care. If you did that once a week, twice a week, you will get 1 or 2 people to talk to you. You don't look at the house. You're looking for the person that's willing to do what we just talked about. Remember, that one person that you can make a promise to that will do this. That's all you're looking for, is that one person. Everybody else you're just sifting through, and you're just looking for that one person that you can make a promise to and will believe you and say, yes, this is value to me and I want to do that. So let me ask you this question, Peter.
Yes, sir.
If you're a landlord and you're renting property and somebody comes along and say, hey, I'll keep paying you what your tenants are paying you, but I'll take away all the landlord obligations. Is that enticing to you?
Well, a landlord will get to the point where he's starting to think, I can't keep doing this forever. And you say, well, how about we do this for another 2-3 years and then we sell it? He goes, that's kind of what I was thinking, another year or 2. Because they like milking it a little, right? They want to milk it a little bit more, but they're thinking, my knees hurt, my back hurts, I'm getting tired of this aggravation. Wait a minute, I don't have to be a landlord, I can still make some money, I can sell it.
I'm not even going into all that, because I'm going to tell you, if you do 10 of these to a year for the next 5 years, some of those deals are going to like what you're doing, and they're going to want to, because you're paying them every month, and they had no problems, and they collected checks, and you kept your promise. They will turn the deal into an owner finance deal, and you got a whole nother layer of, I'm giving you the absolute pathetic, like you're a complete, absolute lazy, fat idiot, and don't want to do anything except just collect money. Which I'm not saying anybody in this room is doing that, but that's the worst scenario I'm giving you. Yeah. The other place you can go is so when you're on Zillow, you're not looking at the houses. You don't care about the houses. You're looking for the person's motivation.
Yeah, you're not moving in. You're not living there. Somebody will live there. What do you care?
Your buyer is the one that's going to make the decision, right? Also, you can go on Zillow. Zillow has a whole rental section. Just go on Zillow. You can go on apartments.com. You can go on to avail.com. These are all rental sites. And just message, would you be willing to rent for a year or 2 and then sell to me? Yeah. You're looking for one person, maybe 2. Do one at a time. And all you're looking to do is fill your boxes on your wall. That's it. The first phone call you make, you'll be a fumbling idiot and you will completely, absolutely suck. But But then the next phone call, you'll be better. And I promise you, by the time you get to 100 phone calls a year, in a year, you are going to figure out how to talk to a seller and a buyer. Because I promise you, if you actually have an intergaging, just like I talked about in podcast number 451, you will get a deal. You'll find somebody motivated enough that will want your promise and will believe you and allow you to do this. They're going to look at you as a property manager that they don't have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to tell me that there's not one person renting in your area that's not looking for a property manager or somebody to relieve them of their landlord obligation? You're going to tell me you can't find that? I call that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Put your board up, make your 100 boxes, get onto Zillow, get onto Facebook Marketplace, and make these calls. 2 people a week. And you'll make the money I talked about today. All right, I beat it to death. I'm 14 minutes past the hour. I hope you enjoyed what we talked about today. I hope your mind opened up. I hope my disruptors changed your way of thinking. Thank you, Peter, as always, for being here and listening to me and helping me with this podcast. Thank you to our listeners for supporting us. Make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you like us. Make sure you leave a review. If you leave me a 5-star review, you can text and take a picture of it, and you send that picture to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com. I will send you a document that we call the reluctant buyer that has all this stuff inside of it, that even has checklist and everything. So when you're walking through the house, it's got all the scripts, all the checklist, everything. I've been selling this in the past, I think for, I don't know, a couple $100. I don't know what I was selling it for. $97. I will give it to you for free. And it has all the scripts and everything that I was talking about today inside of it. And if you leave us a 5-star review, take a picture of it, text it to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, I will send you that document. Okay? In the meantime, flourish and prosper. We will chat at you on episode number 453. Have a good week.
This has been Flipping Houses for Rookies. The American Dream. What is it? It's called financial freedom, and with real estate, you'll have it. Without the banks, without the bigwigs, and without the realtors' nonsense. Bill and Pete are 2 real estate investors with 30 years plus of experience, hundreds of deals under their belts, and a mission to change the way you think about creative real estate. Do be sure to like, rate, and review the show. And after that, hit up our YouTube channel at Flipping Houses for Rookies/streams. We'll be back soon, and see you then on Flipping Houses for Rookies.